Today I'm going to talk about a few global disasters. The first global disaster that I'm going to talk about is the extinction of passenger pigeon. But first I'm going to tell you a little bit of history. At the time of 1850, the most abundant bird in North America and possibly the world were these passenger pigeons, but 45 years later they were in the final years. There was a female bird named Martha that she died at the Cincinnati Zoo in September 1st, 1914. She was roughly 29 years and she never had a fertile egg. Now, we're gonna talk about how this extinction affects in the environmental issues. Well, these pigeons help maintain healthy forests. Also, they fertilize the forest floor and even occasionally destroying individual trees. Passenger pigeons were one of the most important food resources for carnivores such as foxes. Now, this is a passenger pigeon, and as you can see, it's in a laboratory because they're trying to study these kind of birds. This was a quote that Marcus Thomas Pius Gilbert said that the passenger pigeon died out because of people. Why is this? Because we killed this bird because it was so easy to kill and also because it was a food resource. Now, the second question is how the extinction of passenger pigeon affect in the thoughts of society. Well, here is an image that demonstrate how the nature is better with birds and no, ¿qué estoy hablando? Today I'm going to talk about a few global disasters. The first global disaster that I'm going to talk about is about the extinction of passenger pigeon. But I'm going to tell you a little bit of history. At the time of 1850, the most abundant bird of passenger pigeons were in North America and possibly the world, but 45 years later, they were in the final years. There was a female bird named Martha that she died in September 1st, 1914 at the Cincinnati Zoo. She was roughly 29 years and she never had a fertile egg. Now, we're gonna answer two questions that are very important. The first question is how the extinction of passenger pigeon affects in the environmental issues. Well, pigeons help maintain healthy forests, fertilizing the forest floor and even occasionally destroying individual trees. Passenger pigeons were one of the most important food resources for carnivores, such as foxes. Let's take a look at the third bullet point. Why is that? Well, these kind of birds were so easy to kill that it was used to be a food resource, even for humans, also for animals. There is a picture of this pigeon that is in a laboratory because they're trying to study this kind of bird. This was a quote that Marcus Thomas Pius Gilbert said that is, the passenger pigeon died out because of people. Let's take a look at the second question that says, how the extinction of passenger pigeon affect in the thoughts of society? Well, they helped, as I said, to be clean in the environment, but also they were food too. And they killed this bird, so now the food resources is less for humans and for animals. Also, they help to fertilize the plants and turn this photosynthesis produce oxygen that is necessary for life. So if humans kill that amount of birds, it's bad for us because we need oxygen and these passenger pigeons help to provide that for us. And also, there is a Lazy Act that consists in not being able to trade with birds that were killed illegally. Why is that? Because, as I mentioned before, it's unfair to kill birds, and also this law provides the birds a better place and also security. This picture shows how humans killed this bird. Let's take a look at the second global disaster that says Exxon Valdez oil spill. Well, I'm gonna talk about how this Valdez oil spill affects environmental issues. First, this happened because a boat had an accident with a reef, and thousands of crude oil were in Arctic waters. To be more specific, 41,640 kiloliters of crude oil in Arctic waters. As you can imagine, most of the animals that lived in that area died, and also most of the beaches in Alaska were contaminated, and a few of them are still contaminated because this crude oil is and was in the surface of the beach. The reason why, as I said, this happened is because the company failed to supervise this boat and they had an accident. The second question is how the problem with Exxon Valdez oil spill affect in the thoughts of society. Well, as you can see, the picture shows how this oil killed this animal, where we're contaminating the environment and we're killing it. Also, Alaska beaches still contaminated and remains crude oil in the surface, and also the animals that lived there died, and if they don't die, they can't live there anymore. So we're invading their place and we're killing their place. Also, this incident killed tons of fish, and this has a bad consequences in food resources and also in companies because they don't have fish and they can't eat that kind of amount of fish. There's a picture that showed how was and how it is the surface of the Alaska coastline and beaches, and that it's also a picture that focuses on the crude oil. And then we're talking about the third global disaster, that is Chernobyl disaster. This picture shows the diagram of the Chernobyl place. Now, Chernobyl disaster was a very bad incident that affect very bad in the environment. This radioactive problem caused the death of trees and also rare disease in people and also in animals. There were pictures that show that a few animals were with two faces, with a big eye, and you can see that this radioactivity affects a lot. Also, there was a problem in the atmosphere because when this Chernobyl disaster happened, all the radioactivity was at the atmosphere and the wind expanded that radioactivity. The places that were most affected was Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine. And forest and freshwater bodies were the most affected ecosystems, and because of that, most of the animals died because of radioactivity and because they can't drink water. Now, let's take a look how the problem with the Chernobyl disaster affects the thoughts of society. Well, the first image that you can see is a man who is sick. Most of the people who live in the near areas were affected, but some scientists don't rule out that it was a possible cause of cancer due to radioactivity in the environment. We can infer that this man has cancer of something similar. And the second picture shows that a lot of flora and fauna died because of this radioactivity contamination. As you can see in the picture, this man has a special mascara and special shoes to work outside because this radioactivity affects a lot also in the environment, as I said, and people. And also, besides that, the effect of radioactivity lasts more than 100 years. So this Chernobyl disaster can't happen again because it will contaminate, no for like a month, no, for 100 years, and could be even worse. So these three global disasters were very important, and we need to take a look and be conscious about this.